So this is a Deepscope mixed reality ultrasound simulator. And it's the first ultrasound simulator that is based on augmented and mixed reality. And it uses a virtual reality headset. So you put it on like this, and the image should be completely crisp and clear. If it's not crisp and clear, then you should just adjust the straps, and you can adjust the straps from the back. And there's a top strap that you can adjust as well, until you get it to a kind of crisp, clear position. The controllers, you can see, are on the stand. And when you're in the kind of the main Oculus menu, if you're resetting the device or something like that, you hold them like this. You've got your index finger on the trigger like that, and you've got one in each hand. And we can see that we've got a physical mannequin here, and inside the physical mannequin, we've got the three-dimensional anatomy. We've got the heart, and we've got the skeleton. And on the controller, we have our ultrasound probe. And so you can see that here. And the bottom of the controller matches up with where the bottom of the ultrasound probe is. And the green edge is your probe marker. So you're going to place the ultrasound probe onto the mannequin. You can see that the anatomy matches up pretty well with the simulated with the mannequin. And as you move on the surface, your ultrasound image is processed. Okay, so from here you can just try and go through and see if you can get the views whilst the skin is off and you've got the skeleton and the beating heart in front of you. So you can see where your ultrasound beam is coming from and kind of why the image is the way it is. And whilst you're practicing, you want to pick up the left-hand controller, which has a laser pointer on it and a trigger like that. And sometimes it's useful to click slicing and slice top or slice bottom, depending on where you are. And you just wait a second whilst it processes. And then you look back at the model and you can see that it's cutting through the body. So it's showing you how the ultrasound beam is being formed given the three-dimensional anatomy. And you can move it anywhere on the body to kind of understand why that image is the way it is and how you can improve your image. Sometimes you'll be casting onto a television and an instructor will show you how to do this. Otherwise, you can just kind of keep moving around and try to understand why the anatomy and the ultrasound image look the way they do. The next thing you can try to make it a bit harder is you can turn on the realistic ultrasound image, which then adds a rib shadowing behind each of the ribs. You can see in the center there, got rib shadowing, and also blur and some other ultrasound effects, and just makes it a little bit harder to get to the right views. See, we're right behind a rib there. There we go. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is make it harder. So you want to switch the skin on. So you click these little bars down here with the trigger, and then you put the skin back on. And we're going to turn the slicing off. Right, so now we have just a body in front of us. We can't see the ribs, we can't see the heart, and we're going to try and do an ultrasound scan from scratch. And if you want to make it even harder, you want to switch on the realistic, and you want to try and go through a kind of the full process of doing an ultrasound. And then if you're struggling, you can always switch back to schematic, or you can switch on the slicing to really explain kind of why didn't I get to the right image. Okay, those are the main buttons at the bottom. If you want to go a little bit further, you can click into the anatomy some more, and we can actually switch on the arteries, for example. We'll switch back, we'll have a look, and we'll switch off the skin just so that I can show you. There we go. And now we've got the full arterial anatomy of the body with the heart and with the skeleton. And you can see, for example, the abdominal aorta there and the different vessels coming off it. And you can still slice into it. So if you want to kind of review the anatomy of the circulation in the abdomen, for example, you can look into that. And you can add and remove tissues just in this menu. As you add more tissues, it takes up more processing power, so you might have to remove some and add some back and forth, but you can experiment as you like. That is it.